Welcome in, everybody. I am joined by DoA today. We have a short little caster interview so you can get to know them a little bit better before the regulation season begins. DoA, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing great. I'm getting hyped. The exhibition matches were really fun, and it's fun to watch you and Crone cast those, and I'm looking forward to getting my shot a little bit later.
Now, you and I talked right before this interview about some of the heel, as people are calling me on Twitter, wanting Cho'Gall and stuff like that. You have a little bit of an affinity for Cho'Gall, don't you?
I do, yeah. I've talked about this pretty much every chance I've gotten, but a lot of people probably still don't know. But like Wolf, who casted the vast majority of all the Heroes of the Storm in Korea, he and I would go to, when I lived over there, he and I would go to the internet cafes and just play nothing but Cho'Gall games for like hours. It's actually been kind of wild because like I've been, playing on my NA account now, and I'm like, oh, this account is so far behind where my KR account was. I'm like trying to get up to that level 50 to play ranked games, and I'm like, oh, I'm doing this again. But like, it's we just played nothing but Cho'Gall for like a long time over there. I was Cho and he was Gall, and we just like wrecked people. So I love that hero. I think it's super unique, and it's one of the things I love about Hero of the Storm, that like Blizzard hasn't been afraid to create like really wild heroes in MOBAs like Cho'Gall. So I hope we get to see it eventually. But I think there's nothing wrong with wanting Cho'Gall. He's an awesome hero, and anyone who says otherwise just like hates fun.
Exactly. That's what I like to say in a lot of the drafts. Typically, the team that bans it, I was like, this is just Team No Fun now. They don't have actually any other name in my book. Now, speaking of, Cho'Gall is something fun that you like to play with Wolf, as you're noting. Is there any other heroes that stand out to you that you just like to watch or play?
Yeah, so I know this is like gonna get me like memed even more, but like I was a big Kael'thas player like back when I played a lot more. I know. I like playing I played a lot of when I was playing on my own, I played a lot of the supports or the mages basically. So I played a lot of Kael'thas, Jaina, Li Ming, and then I would play a lot of the supports like Malfurion, Rhaegar, that kind of thing. So since I came back to the game, recently it's been a lot of Deckard Cain and Anna. Like Anna is just incredibly fun. She is just the hero for me because I love heroes where I feel like I have a lot of control over a team fight, where I can like pump a lot of healing in, but it also requires like skill to do it. Like I love that everything she's got is skill shots, because when you hit that like piercing sleep dart, it just feels so good.
Oh, yeah.
I only take Eye of Horus. I'm not a very good team player, but like, so I've been playing a lot of Anna lately. So I generally trend towards the bloodthirsty supports in Heroes of the Storm, like I do in every game, basically.
Now, on the note of Kael'thas, I want to back it up for one quick second. Are you a mana addict or are you a convection Kael'thas?
So I'm of two minds with that, because like mana addict is like, it's a logical choice, right? Like, because the more you can cast, the more you can control space, that kind of stuff, and like I feel like that's always been like Kael'thas's role. Like, I mean, it's great to nuke people. I mean, back when I played him, like you went Phoenix, you didn't go Pyroblast, right?
Right.
So that was much more about like zone control at that point. So I haven't tried convection that much. I think it's super cool, and I always love the risk reward of like having a lot of damage versus like, playing safe, because he's very fragile, obviously. But
absolutely.
I think the smart choice is obviously mana addict, but like if you can make convection work, that's a baller move. I'm not going to fault you on that.
There you go. Well, hopefully our CCL players pick up some convection games during the regulation season for you. Let's dial it back a little bit away from Here's the Storm. You've worked in multiple different casting environments, MOBA scenes. What kind of got you into casting in general? What was your foot in the door, I guess you could say?
Well, so for me, it was definitely StarCraft 2. So I've always been like competitive at gaming, even when I didn't know esports existed. And a lot of that early on was like FPSs and stuff. Like I played in a lot of like local Halo tournaments in Minnesota where I went to college. But it was really StarCraft 2 where I got into esports specifically, because I played StarCraft 1 for years and years and years. Never knew there was an esport around it. I kind of lived in a little bit more of a remote place. Just didn't have exposure. I didn't have an internet connection until I was in college. So just not a lot of opportunities to really, see it. So when StarCraft 2 beta came out, I happened to stumble across Team Liquid while I was looking for like some build orders, basically to get better for my ladder play. That led to learning about esports, watching all these tournaments. I thought the casting thing looked like a lot of fun. So I spent like some of my meager, factory worker income at the time on a microphone and just started doing it. And it just kind of spiraled out of control from there, basically.
Well, I mean, I guess it's a kind of a good spiral if we're pulling you into the Heroes CCL, because you've worked in the LCS in the past as well. You've had some big moments
LCK,
casting for excuse me, LCK, not LCS. Everything I'm learning a little bit more about League of Legends in the competitive realm, so everything is LCS.
It's still OGN Champions to me in my heart, but now
Fair.
they call it
But it's just it's really cool. You've been in all these different environments. What is it like being a caster for so many different games? Is it challenging? Do you sometimes mix up roles, heroes, rosters, players?
Oh yeah, all the time. Like when I started casting Overwatch, there's a character in Overwatch named Lucio, and then there's a character in League of Legends named Lucian, right? So I would be getting those names wrong all the time, and you know, in one game it's heroes, another game it's champions, another game it's agents. I love the challenge of casting a lot of different games, and I guess that kind of makes me a little bit unique in that way, because usually you see people kind of focus on one game no matter what. And I love to get to do one game over a long period of time and get to experience all the like player stories that come out of it. But I really just love a bunch of different games. Honestly, it's just fun to swap things up a little bit from time to time. So yeah, it's I'm definitely making it harder on myself than I probably should, but I like doing a lot of different games, and so I've kind of gotten used to it. There's just like this period of time where it's just like I'm in right now with Heroes, where since I casted Heroes last, which was 2016, and that was only just filling in when someone was sick on the OGN broadcast, so it was not very much. But since then, a lot of Heroes have come out. I've played off and on, but I haven't really kept track of it super hard every single time something came out. So right now it's just a ton of memorization. It's a ton of talking to players that I know, like Crowan and June, who used to play for Tempo Storm, and just kind of getting back into the swing of things. Grubby and I've been playing some games, and there's a lot of work that goes into it when you swap games like that. But it's fun. I like the challenge.
I definitely hope some of those games that you and Grubby are playing together are definitely Cho'Gall games.
Not yet. Not
yet. You haven't convinced him just yet.
UNA ping makes it a little bit tricky for us,
Soon enough, we'll be seeing some DoA Cho'Gall games for all of us.
DoA, I don't know.
Yeah, you'll have to send us screenshots of those ones, especially depending on the builds you guys go into. I wanted to ask you a little bit more on the casting realm of things. While I have you, for anyone that might be watching this and sees you doing all these different games, and just maybe even sees you as an inspiration to their own casting skills, what would you give recommendation-wise to someone who's up and coming or wants to just work on their own skill set?
I think ultimately at the end of the day, like the best thing to do, and it sounds like too obvious, but the best thing to do is just do it. That's the way I got into it, was simply just to make a lot of content and just keep working at it. And at the time, I didn't have any intention at all of making it a career or anything like that. I didn't know casting was a career. I just knew it was something fun that I enjoyed to do, and I wanted to get better at it. And so I think that's really what it comes down to, is that if you have like a real desire for improving at the craft of casting, and you have a real love for whatever game you're into, you'll want to do it. You'll get excited to come home from work and like cast for 3 hours, right? Like at the time that I started doing all this, I was actually working as tech support for Verizon Wireless, and so I would be talking on the phone for 8 hours a day with customers already, and then I would come home and cast for like another 3 or 4 hours, which seems like a lot. It's a lot of speaking, but I don't even remember it feeling hard at the time. Like it was just something I wanted to do. And so anyone who wants to get into it or wants to improve on it, honestly, the best thing to do is just do it. Just make content, because if you want to get picked up for gigs and stuff, having a growing body of work that you can show people that you're consistent, that you're improving, is really important. And then it's also just important to do more of it, just simply because it's practice, right? So just honestly doing it is the most important thing. Aside from that, obviously talking to as many pros as you can, looking at what other sportscasters are doing in other games, and trying to incorporate the things you like about what they're doing. But really at the end of the day, it's just doing it, and doing it a lot until you get better.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's a little bit of a grind, but it's a grind inspired by passion, I guess you could say. You definitely have to have that desire, and there's going to be days of that burnout feel. Absolutely. As you're saying, you work 8-10 hours, whatever, and then going home and still working is a long day. But no, thank you for the little bit of insight right there. Before I kind of let you run out of here, are there any, insights, perspective, excitement that you have for the upcoming CCL exhibition matches, draft day, and regulation season?
Yeah, I mean, more than anything, I want people to know that I do take it very seriously, and I think it's an honor, frankly, to be able to be part of this. I think Heroes Esports has always deserved a lot more than it's gotten from Blizzard and from a lot of other places. And so I just want people to know that I'm going to give it my very best, and I'm really excited about it. And I think Heroes is a game that deserves to and will grow, from things like CCL. So I'm happy to be a part of it.
Well, DoA, thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to seeing you on draft day, October 17th, and then onward into the regulation season. You have a wonderful day, and we'll see you in the Nexus.
Thanks.